Welcome to Thursday Night Fading Suns. I am JM, your GM, and this is the crew of, well, you were the Cassius's Blade, and then you were the crew of the Venetian Merchant, and now you're stuck on this pirate ship called the Raven's Blood, so I'm sure that's fine. We are here on the Ulysses International Twitch channel. Thank you for tuning in. This is what seems to be likely the final episode in the arc, the Annals of Antioch. And depending on what happens tonight, those of you who survive will be able to continue on into the next arc, which, you know, surely exists in my head somewhere. So let's get into the recap of last week and just start back up and get right into it. So last week you boarded the Raven's Blood and decided to make your way right to the bridge. From there, you kind of discovered sort of what happened. It seems that this ship was ferrying some people and illicit goods that had to deal with the jump drive and disengagement of the Sarthra dampener, which kind of keeps everybody from going into this ecstatic, sort of metaphysical, addictive state. And that is what brought the pirate ship and your ship here. It overrode the jump gate codes. In sort of figuring that out, you went to the engineering deck where it seemed that all of the power and life support had been rerouted to, and you encountered several people in black sort of raven's wing cloaks and hoods and large raven's wing masks, and you quickly killed all of them. And I don't even think they had a chance to go. And in killing them, they just sort of dropped to the ground as if there was no bodies in there. Additionally, there was this weird onyx stone that had been set into and mounted into the jump drive. And as soon as you killed the last of them, Perpetua and Father Bell, who never left the lift because they're too smart for that, the lift doors closed and they started falling, which is really weird because the engineering deck was sort of on the bottom of the ship. And as they fell, they heard this laughter, and it felt like they were falling faster and faster, ice sort of creeping up the sides of the lift pod. The rest of you, Runner, Brother Gabriel, and Rothgar, you heard the same laughter that you heard in the woods on your way down the mountain from the Shrine of Beatrice to Rothgar's village. And all of the lights kind of flickered on, and you heard jump drive engage, safety protocols overridden, 3 minutes till jump. Now, here's the thing. That doesn't make any sense, right? The jump drive technically only engages when you are going through a jump gate. None of you are Engineer Guild. You have no clue what any of that means, but it doesn't necessarily seem good. You do know that Dorian is flying around in the Venetian Merchant, ready to come in and save you guys, assuming there's a chance. So, with that, Perpetua, you and Father Bell are in this ship, or in this lift pod, and it is falling, and ice is creeping up the sides. And if you remember, there was kind of this jarring stop, and gravity is gone for you. The two of you are floating around in this lift pod. What do you do?
So there's not any, like, I don't know, portholes or anything that we can see out of?
Nope, it's like an elevator.
Is there an emergency call box?
There is.
Does it work?
You hit the button.
Yep.
You hear this kind of crackling static noise, and then sort of through it you hear the static sort of resolves into this very low like whispering chant that you can't quite make out, and suddenly there's this screeching of a raven, and then everything goes dead, and you hear kind of calling in it like across a vast it's got this very hollow ring to it. Yes, Perpetua? What can I do for you?
Who is this?
Oh, I'm sure you know. You've called me many things over the last several days.
I
You
I
can
may have, possibly.
you can call me Ash.
Interesting. Uh, Father Bell.
Oh yes, the Reverend, the Father. So far away from your flock. What are you doing down here in the void, in the darkness with us, Father Bell?
Kindling light.
Be careful. The purpose of kindling is to burn and be
I think.
consumed.
Hmm. If that's my fate, then I am resigned to it. Are you ready to face the light again?
Resigned to it.
I think not.
Spoken like any priest. Resigned.
You speak as one whose mind is only fit for treason, stratagems, and spoils. The motion of your spirit is dull as night.
Yes, just the way I like it. There is sort of a sublime pleasure in darkness. Do you not realize it? That's why you can't stand it in the morning. When the light hits your eyes, it invokes pain. Surely you understand that the darkness is rest. The darkness is
freedom. I thought that was just because I was hungover. Is that everyone?
I grow tired of your talking, Father Bell. I wish to speak with Perpetua. Perhaps I should let a little air out of this box.
Please don't.
Speak not of the shadows that conspire around us. Instead, banish them with light, or remain silent, lest they corrupt thy voice.
At this point, as you are invoking that, you see the doors of the lift start to rattle, and I need a vigor plus roll from you. A vigor plus endurance roll from both of you.
Okay. You got a plus endurance.
You guys are wearing your spacesuits, right?
Yes.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I crit.
I should insert some comment about the pan creator here. What about you, Perpetua? What'd you get?
I'm going to surge and put those 5 points towards my target because
Your goal roll? Okay.
Otherwise, I don't feel great. My goal is 12. I fail.
How badly do you fail?
Not close enough that you can help.
Okay.
All right, so Father Bell, you watch as Perpetua drops to the ground and starts gasping. Perpetua, you are currently suffocating. Like play no. Come on, Lily. I want to feel like you're suffocating. Father Bell, a flock of one, and yet this one seems to be dying right in front of you.
I'd like to invoke Counter the Dark for Perpetua.
Okay.
Which, drawing up, anyway. As a primary action, you can speak authoritative words to mitigate a state from which your target is suffering caused by occult means.
Okay.
Such as psychic powers, theurgy, or exposure to or artifacts. For each turn that I spend a victory point on, the state has no effect on them.
So you have to spend it every round?
No, I just spend a set of victory points, and then for that number of rounds, they're immune.
So, Father Bell, how many do you spend?
20.
Sweet.
Rise. and hoping that it's going to work, I say, "Rise, daughter of the Pan Creator."
Perpetua, you are no longer, like air. You can hear the hissing of the air kind of coming back into your suit, and sweet, stale, recycled air is once again filling your lungs. Back over in the ship.
I will say, if you're going to be stuck in an elevator with a demon, you want to be stuck in there with Father Bell. If it was me, you'd be suffocating.
Rothgar would be like, "I got this."
I will end your suffering.
2 minutes and 50 seconds until jump drive initiation.
Is the black gem impaled in the body glowing, making any...
It's
visual...
not making any sort of outward signs that you can tell.
Okay,
but again, as the lights sort of flare, you can see there are inscriptions around all of the sides of this thing.
So, you want to toss me up there, runner?
Sure.
I mean, I picture it's big drive. I can't just reach it, right?
Right. It's sort of the focal point of this deck.
Here, so I'm going to push you with
the door. Boost me up there, and I will play golf.
All right. So, runner, you toss. I mean, you've got high vigor and you have high strength. So, tossing Rothgar up there is pretty simple. Rothgar, when you get up there, you can feel the vibrations of the jump drive kind of through your boots, up your legs. And as you stand over this body that is impaled sort of into the jump drive, you can see that there are the top of this onyx stone is sort of multifaceted, and while each one reflects your reflection, you do see this sort of looming presence behind you in each of the individual reflections on its surface.
Gotcha. I'll take my premium axe and trying to remember stuff that Father Bell said for the creator pan, and I try to strike the gem and knock it off the body.
Available, the creator pan, available from in all IKEA stores across the known worlds.
Comes with a great set of Jinsu steak knives to pass you by 1 billion years into the future.
That's right. I wish you could just like flash like a infomercial number across the bottom of the screen right now. So, Rothgar, I need you to give me a melee roll here.
Okay, nope.
Is there any other way out of this room besides the elevator?
Give me a perception plus either observe or academia roll.
All right, so observe. Great.
Do none of you have academia? So, Father, the two.
I've got some academia.
The two people with actual skill points above the base are stuck in an elevator. Yeah. How many do you have?
I have a 4 in academia.
Well, there you go. Because of the lift accident, Brother Gabriel is now
I am now
the most schooled guy in the room.
Promoted to full professor.
No longer just an adjunct.
Right.
I got a whopping failure.
Okay.
I got an 8.
You see the jump drive. How many are you spending?
I will spend 8.
All right.
Get out.
So Perpetua, Runner, you notice sort of 2 ways out of here. You could access just kind of the interdeck space through there's a series of ladders that lead to different ledges, but you also see there are hatches in the ceiling of the jump area that you can crawl up through there, and they would just lead you to the next deck above.
Okay. I'm going to then turn quickly to Brother Gabriel and say, I think I see a way out.
Do we need to get out, or do we need to disable this thing?
That's what I was going to ask. Do you want me to try to get to the bridge, or do we want to tear this thing apart?
So the gem is like plugged into the jump drive?
It is.
We will see. 16 out of 19.
Okay.
And I will spend... Do I need to spend more points to overcome resistance, or...
How many points are you spending on this roll, Rothgar?
Blind bid.
Yes, I'm saying, so it's a blind bid for the resistance, or just add the damage?
It's a blind bid for the resistance.
Okay, I will spend... update my vault. 16. So whatever ridiculous difficulty that is.
Okay, and then what's the damage on your axe?
The impact is 7. I'm not trying to break the thing. I'm just trying to knock it free.
So Rothgar, you are unable to knock it free. It seems to be like attached somehow to the jump drive. But bringing your axe down, you definitely like knock a chunk of it free. And as several of these pieces, it's obsidian, so it sort of breaks and shatters. Not the whole thing. You kind of take a chunk off. I do need a vigor plus endurance roll as several of the little black fragments hit you.
Okay, so is it plugged into like a base of some kind?
It seems to have been somehow melded in through the metal of the jump drive.
Wasn't it in the guy's body?
The guy's body is sort of what is acting as the seal.
Glue.
Yep. His body, it keeps freshness in and PCs out.
I'm trying to visualize this. What I would like to do is take my wire blade and use it not to cut the stone itself, but to just detach the stone from the jump drive.
So you'd have to get up there to see what it's at. But at this point, from Rothgar's perspective, it goes into the guy's chest, and then it did not move when he hit it. It didn't even shake it seems to be mounted somehow with that guy's body sort of.
Is he alive?
He is not alive.
So how large is it?
About chest sized.
Okay, so if I got up there, could I just sort of try to cut it out of his body?
You could try. It's a game of the imagination.
Anything's
possible.
I will throw you up there, and then I think I'm going to try to go. I'm thinking I should try to get to the bridge to see if I can just turn off the ship.
Okay. Rothgar, what'd you get on your roll?
Okay, I'm going to add from my vault to make it a 19 goal, and I roll 16 again for my endurance vigor.
All right, this is also a blind bid. How much are you spending?
To add to my resistance.
This is to overcome what's being attempted to happen to you. Something is going on. What's the how hard are you fighting it? I guess is the answer.
I will spend all 16 that I just generated.
All right. You seem to be fine. Runner, you toss Brother Gabriel up there, who lands next to Rothgar on top of this drive.
And then I am booking it sprinting up the stairs into the bridge.
All
To
right.
see if I-
It'll take you some time to do that, but
Okay. How is there any other like big red button to push down here?
I mean, there's
Is there a big
plenty of big
reset
red
button?
buttons. They all say "Do not push," though.
She can push 4 of them at once.
That's right. They say "Do not push." Definitely not for candy.
Okay, so running to the bridge would take me say, 2 minutes, minute and a half we have left.
It would take you about a minute at full book climbing up the ladders.
I will sprint and I will fully book it
All
to
right.
the bridge.
Brother Gabriel, we'll come back to you here in a second. So, in the elevator, 21 rounds later. No, so you have, Father Bell, you have successfully sort of banished Ashkagial's influence over Perpetua. So, Perpetua, do you really
But
want
he's still on the phone with us?
What?
He's still on the phone with us?
She is still on the phone with you, yes.
Okay, great.
Do you really want to die out here on the most backward side of the jump gate? Really? Is there nothing that you would rather do?
I mean, it wasn't like we made the choice.
No, those choices have been made for you.
Correct.
Much like where you're at now. Wouldn't you like to have the freedom to make that choice?
Not at whatever price you're offering.
Please, I'm not asking for your soul. I mean, if you wanted to slit Father Bell's throat, I wouldn't stop you. How about a simple exchange?
What would you reward her?
I didn't go
What happens
through...
if we push the buttons?
Which button?
Any buttons?
So you just kind of hit the button.
I mean, if we push any of the buttons, does anything happen?
Well, yes. Are you pushing one of the buttons?
Father Belly, do you want to look for some insight before we start pushing buttons?
Indeed, I am already praying. Lady of Light, bring forth your presence. Show your humble servants the way to defeat your foe and upset her plan to harm your servants in the initiation of this jump by the ship. I'm seeking divine revelation on how to stop the ship from jumping and foil Ash's diabolical plan. I'm
All
spending
right.
a weird point and gonna give it a shot. All right. That good thing I spent the weird point. I succeed with a 10. I need to spend 1 for the right, spend 2 for the resistance, which is easy. Means I have, and if I spend 6 victory points out of the 8 that I've generated, I get what is called profound leaps of logic, which is beyond a clear indication of how to solve things.
Bill, I'm looking right at you. You made this power. So here's the thing, Father Bell.
Yeah.
You know that creatures of the darkness between stars are they are deceptive. They what they do while they have vast power, most of what they right, they have no power to create, Right? Everything they do is sort of a corruption or a ephemeral reflection of some perfection within the Pan Creator's design. So you know for a fact that this ship, you were at the bottom deck. It doesn't go any farther than that. Your guess is pushing one of those buttons should have its normal effect.
Okay. Back to the engine room.
Bill.
I got a question. Last session, Father Bell, didn't you cast a right or don a right? And I think it was on runner. I don't know, but she had a goal until she did it. All the rolls to succeed in that were favorable, but I don't remember what the task was.
She did succeed.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Good try, though.
And I turn to Perpetua and say, everything this creature whispers is twisted and deceptive, if not an outright lie. That's how they exist. She is working on our minds. I believe that you not only did she not take your error, but your error was never gone. And it is the blessing of the Pan Creator that allows you to see through her deception. And now we're going back to the engine room to help our friends.
Okay, but if we open the door, is Ashkagial then free to interact with other folks? Or...
She's here.
By her choice?
And, but she'll use illusion, deception, lies, promises to try to distract us, to work through agents to harm us. But she's simply a shadow.
Okay.
A sad, sorry shadow.
Okay.
One who, if she repented, maybe the Pan Creator would find some redeemable part, but she's twisted by her own lies.
What do you do, Perpetua?
I hit the button for the engine room.
The doors open, and you see no one is in there. I mean, then you see Runner, like, climbing up the ladder, and you see Rothgar and
Brother Gabriel?
Brother Gabriel on top of the jump drive. Runner, you see the doors open, and like below you, the elevator opens back up, and Perpetua and Father Bell are in there.
I'm going to step out.
Yeah, we exit the elevator forthwith.
Forthwith. I'm gonna call down, like, we're preparing to jump. I'm going to try to get to the bridge to stop it.
Very well. Beware. The enemy is active here, and Ashkagial works through lies, deceptions, and illusions.
Noted. She's a total. And then I say a word that, again, in Vorox, but you've all heard me say several times.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I probably
Isn't
did
that
heavily.
kind of how bounty hunters work?
And what can I see? I know that when we came in, we saw the spread eagle body, the heart of obsidian driven through it into the drive and everything. Yep. Can I see the basics of that from where I am in the?
You'd have to crawl up there as well, or have Runner toss you.
Ooh, well, runner's busy. Is there no ladder or anything?
There is a
or
lot. I mean, there are
Yeah.
several like catwalks and walkways that you could navigate up to get there.
All right. I want a vantage point to be able to examine this. I don't have to be right next to it. I'm not going to hit it with an axe or anything.
Yeah, it don't work.
And if I can still do things, I'm going to cast Second Sight to try and see the occult influences here or any flows and whether or not they seem to be illusory or if there's some link to some darkness or something.
All right, so Father Bell,
But I'm going to try.
You're climbing up while casting that. Perpetual, what are you going to do? And then I'll go to everyone else. You left the elevator forthwith.
Yes. So is there any other way up, or is it just the ladder?
There's just the ladder or waiting for Runner to come back down and then toss you up.
I will start climbing the ladder.
Okay, so you're there with Father Bell.
Yep.
All right, Brother Gabriel and Rothgar, you are up there. I will give. Are you? So, Runner, are you continuing up the ladder?
Unless someone tells me to stop, yes.
Okay. All right. So, Father Bell, give me the roll. Brother Gabriel and Rothgar, you are there around this human body kind of spread out on top of the jump drive. You have taken a huge chunk of the obsidian kind of off of this stone that is in the center of the guy's chest.
And you said there were like glyphs or writing on the stone itself?
Yeah, there's carvings around the stone. They don't seem to be any sort of... They don't seem to be in any sort of... I don't hear any screaming. Language that you understand.
Yeah, no, but so some of them shattered and flew off, so if it was...
Yeah, some of it shattered and flew off. Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to keep wailing on it, I guess. It's just... Unless Gabriel can tell me something.
All right.
Since he can read Latin.
It is not in Latin.
Is it in Earthish?
It is no. It's in not. It is not in a human language. It seems to be something like there are parts of the cuttings as you're looking at them that sort of speak to you as like maybe part of a language, but something that kind of speaks kind of to a more atavistic part of your mind, like the lettering of a language that all languages seem derived from.
Gabriel, can you read what's written on this gem?
Is it in Latin?
It is not in Latin.
Well, no.
All right. So
did my sorry, I've been dealing with some audio issues over here on not being able to hear you guys, but in the did my attempt to sort of cut around the guy work at all?
So how close are you getting to the stone is the question, and how deep are you going?
I would say I'm going pretty deep, but I'm, giving this down a couple inches.
Okay. You can cut the guy's body free, and as the parts start falling free from their own weight, I mean, the wire blade, it's like hot knives through butter. Look at wire blades and go, damn, that's smooth. You can see that it's like as you give it some birth, you're actually scoring the jump drive's casing and still don't see how this stone is intersecting. Like it looks as if the medium of the body has sort of allowed the stone to pass through the protective plating, which also means, Gabriel, as you're kind of looking at it, you're not sure if you cut the rest of that body free. I mean, at this point, gore is just spilling out of the body. You're not entirely sure if you cut that body free what's going to happen, because you do know that rupturing the protective casing of a jump drive is, well, it's not good. They tend to then nanoseconds later kind of do that sweet like special effect that Lucas likes to go back in and put in like 15 or 20 years later. When we do the special edition of Annals of Antioch, the special effects are going to be amazing.
Super amazing.
Also, Brother Gabriel won't shoot first. Anyway.
Okay. Alright, so much for cutting this thing out.
2 minutes till jump drive activation.
Alright, we gotta turn this thing off. What do we got?
Runner, you have made it through the first deck and are making your way to the second deck. You'll make it there when there's about 90 seconds left. Father Bell, what did you get on your roll? Perpetua, you are right there next to him.
I got an 8 out of 12.
Okay.
On one of my dice. The other one was not good, but that's why I spent a weird point. So there's a whole variety of math coming along, but I am easily able to spend the 4 for the hard resistance of this power. Okay. And it says second sight confers the ability to see all the broad occult forces at work in a given scene.
Okay. Perpetua, just do me a real simple favor. Could you just give me a perception plus observe roll real quick? And then I will explain to Father Bell what he sees.
Okay.
Crit.
Okay.
Wow.
I will come back to you here in a second, Perpetua. Father Bell, you see it. You can see that the body, it's not so much the flesh, but you can see that this person's soul was basically willingly given to the dark that allowed it to sort of bend the space around it as the stone, like you can kind of see it in your mind's eye, the stone being pushed through his chest into the jump drive. It's what allowed, it acted as sort of the lost road, not just the key, but what allowed it to kind of use the jump gate in a way that it was not meant to be used. Whatever this thing is, whatever Ashkagial is, there is this cunning and dark design behind its plans. You can clearly see that somehow there's still a link between this jump drive and the jump gate, as if the jump gate is still active somehow. All of the occult forces. You see the Pancrator's light shining on Brother Gabriel. His soul's mirror burnished to a near blinding sheen, much like your own.
Before this is different than rending the veil of unreason. So I don't generally get auras and fate so much, just occult forces.
Yes.
Active. So.
You also feel it, this gathering of power, not so much in front of you, although the jump drive is set to go off again. And you can see there's some sort of occult influence there, but whatever's going on with that stone, it is definitely the focus of this rite that Ashkagial has sort of put into play. The stone is the focal point. If you could find some way to destroy the stone, that would be
atomic bullets.
However, Perpetua, you hear it. Father Bell, you feel it. The flapping of wings. Hey, Father Bell, what's your body resistance?
Hey, my body resistance is 3. because I'm in the space armor.
All right, Father Bell. Perpetua, you hear the flapping of wings behind you. As you turn around, you see the shadows sort of materialize, and this piece of the bulkhead come flying off like a spar that hits Father Bell low in the back and kind of punctures through his suit for 8 points of damage. And you hear...
Shield?
Shield? Sure. How much is... What's the shield band range on yours?
6 to 9.
All right, then I will spend the remaining 6. So I'm going to jump it up to 14, Father Bell.
Ow.
So you will take 5.
Ow.
And you hear, a shadow am I? I am fragmented, but each piece of me is more than a match for your fragile, fleshy shell. And the sound of ravens just sort of descends on Father Bell, and for a brief moment you saw his shield flare, Perpetua, and there is now just an inky blackness that seems to have kind of wrapped around Father Bell. What are the rest of you doing?
We didn't notice that. I look at Gabriel. I've got a rope. Maybe we can tie it and pull this thing out.
I'm going to pull out my revolver and load the nuke bullets.
I assume very
will take that
slowly.
cue and
Shake out the shells.
I understand. I will jump off the jump drive.
So I will try to take a bit of a step back, and I'm so sorry. Hold on.
We can hear you fine.
Okay. Oops. All right, let me try the speakers again. Okay, so I'm gonna step back a bit. I'm going to shield myself behind anything like a bulkhead or a bit of conduit or just whatever's available.
Not a whole lot.
And all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna step back just far enough so it's not exactly point blank range, and I'm just gonna fire 3 shots of nuke bullets.
All right.
Remember, I jumped off the drive.
So
Yep,
excited, John May.
Got it.
All right, so Rothgar, why don't you just give me an endurance plus vigor roll as you... Ha ha! All right, so Richard, these are the bullets that you carved.
Metal surge.
From the material that was inside of the judges.
Yep. I said nuke bullets. I mean, it's
You did.
not ambiguous.
They're just super hard, like a depleted uranium sabot round out of an A1 Abrams tank.
Oh, Father Bell, we may have an instant replay ruling here.
Oh, I'll just let it roll.
What type of shield do you have?
Oh. I have an antique e-shield.
Compatible with ES armor. Because it may not be compatible with your
Oh,
armor.
I'm wearing an antique, and it is an antique.
So, Rothgar, what'd you get?
I got a 10. I spent some points, got it up to an 18 and rolled a 10. So I succeed unless I need to spend more to overcome anything.
So it is a hard roll, so it'll be 6 to try to get down there without like
Okay,
breaking
I'll spend
something.
6.
You're fine, Father Bell. It is compatible with your suit.
Okay. Well,
Thanks, Chat.
whatever.
I appreciate you being on my side.
Father Bell will take whatever. He's ready to take it for the pancreas.
All right. So Rothgar jumps off the edge of the thing. You definitely hear a hoof as he hits the ground, and then like a tumbling roll. You're gonna take the shot. All right. Anything? So you line up the shot from the bullets you carved yourself. Anything else going on here, Brother Gabriel? I mean,
I would sure spend lots of points.
I just say my prayers and I'm gonna fire 3 shots.
do you have a prayer handy? Just out of curiosity.
Not for this.
Okay.
This
So it's
one
really- So are you saying it's really more of a Hail Mary? All right, give me your roll, Brother Gabriel. You do not know the resistance of the material.
All right, so I'm gonna surge, and then I assume this is a dexterity shoot.
Do you have a weird point?
I have one if you need one.
I would take one.
Petra, don't forget you have a weird point because you critted.
As do you,
All right,
Father Bell.
I get a 6.
All right.
I have used my weird points.
All right, so 3-round burst. Pop, pop, pop. What? Well, you had 2 bullets, right?
No, 3.
You had 3? All right, you're firing all 3 at them. All right. How much are you spending to overcome the resistance?
I'll spend 14.
Okay. The obsidian instrument of this dark antinomous cult explodes from the shots. With 14. All right, none of them came up 20s, and I gave you 3d20 to try it. All right, the stone explodes. The body, the corpse underneath it, just finishes falling apart after you've cut a large chunk of it away. What was holding it together just goops away, slides down in a wet slopping noise on either side of the jump drive. Brother Gabriel, I do need the... so what is your body resistance currently?
I believe it's currently 3.
Do you have anything you wish to... as you are peppered with these obsidian fragments, do you have any that you would like to spend to increase your body resistance?
Yeah, I'll spend 12.
You've got just a ton over there, don't you?
Well, I surged and then, yeah.
All right, you kind of shield yourself. You can see several of them embed themselves in the barrel of your revolver. But the stone, gone. The body, gone. The black shell around Father Bell, still there. Perpetual, what are you doing?
I
The countdown ended?
The countdown has not ended.
shout for help because I don't have any way of dealing with demon attack. And I rush forward, I guess.
All right. So we're going to jump over to Runner. We're going to go to Father Bell. And then we'll jump back to the 3 of you. Runner. You have made it to the bridge. Yes. Was that your forearms?
That was all 4 arms. Well, 6 limbs.
6 limbs. 2 arms, 2 legs, 2...
6 limbs.
You make it to the bridge. You are breathing hard as you hear 90 seconds till jump drive initiation.
Okay. Do I see anything on the bridge that says engage?
I mean the engineering console is still there. That's the one that you and Brother Gabriel looked at, where it was all of the power was being rerouted to it.
Okay. Is there? I would like to attempt to reroute power away from the jump drive.
All right. Give me a wits plus interface roll.
Okay.
Spend that weird point.
This will be a very difficult roll.
It's very difficult. 10 or 12.
What? Say that again, sir?
You said it's very difficult?
Well, it is a blind bid at this point. You don't know how.
Okay. So my wits plus interface is an 8. I'm going to also surge, and with the extra VP, get it up to an 18, and spend a weird point to make it favorable.
Okay.
I got a 9. So I will spend... I have one more weird point that I can break into VP then. I will break my weird point into VP, and I will spend 10.
All right.
Because I'm not entirely sure everything that I'm doing, but I need it to succeed.
With a 10, where are you rerouting the power to?
I would...
So you can try and shut the whole thing down, or you can just try and reroute the generators away from the jump drive.
I would like to keep this ship in power because I'm not entirely sure how to start it up again. And reroute it to like life support and I guess if there's any well, I'm assuming that in the future there's a way to kind of recycle energy. I mean, so like if there's like a way to like refill the batteries essentially. Yeah, away from the jump gate and kind of to other things, life support batteries.
Okay.
And if there's nothing else, like kind of venting it out into space, I guess.
Okay. So, Father Bell, you are now standing in this black void. You can feel the chill around you on everything but the hot metal that has stabbed you in the side. Do you really think this is a victory, Bell?
Oh, death. Oh, death. Won't you spare me over to another year? Well, what is this that I can't see? With ice-cold hands taking hold of me. Well, I am death, none can excel. I open the door to heaven or hell. And I cast Prophet Censure on Ashkagial.
What does that do?
Well,
yeah. By the way, you totally got a weird point for that.
It says that you give any enemy within sight a small taste of divine displeasure.
Okay.
This is where I make rolls, unfavorable, but I'm doing it more. I'll cast the weird point into it more just to let her feel the displeasure of the prophet, the Pancreator, and Saint Beatrice.
Okay. See what happens.
Yeah. So I roll a 5 out of 18, and I will pour 15 points into it. I have to overcome the spirit resistance, and given that it's like an archdemon, I'm not super concerned that I'm going to be able to do that. But I'll toss in the weird point just to for flair and.
Oh, it's flairful. All right. So there's this brief shuddering in the darkness. And you hear this voice, the same voice that you have heard talking with Perpetua, echoes of the voice of the woman in the woods that you found. This isn't over. This is but one of a myriad of fragments of what I once was. you may have been able to prevent the jump gate from activation. You may even be reconnecting this forsaken world back with that of the known worlds. But there are always more of me, Father Bell. We are Legion. And with your weird point, it shatters the darkness around you. Perpetua, as you yell for help and go running, again, all of the lights kind of stabilize, and you hear jump drive disengaging, powering down. And the shattering, like the darkness just kind of evaporates in the face of, around Father Bell. And for a brief moment, you think you see him haloed in light. And then everything kind of shudders. And the ship sits still for the first time since you arrived on it.
All right, new bullets.
I give a thumbs up to Father Gabriel. It worked! We don't know yet, Runner.
Runner,
he shot it, it exploded, you left.
Up on the bridge, the ship is being hailed by Dorian.
Sup? We're alive!
You're alive? Is it dealt with?
I think so.
What? Is the ship in any more danger? Are you in any more danger?
I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to calm the rest of them, but for right now, it doesn't seem like we're going anywhere.
All right. I'm going to bring in the ship, and then we're going to get back to go home.
I like that plan.
Make a copy of the logs, especially anything that has to do with any of the jump gate codes. See if you can find a key. Be in the captain's room, it'd be in the first officer's room, it might be on the think machines. We need the key to open the jump gate.
Okay.
Once we have that, it doesn't matter whether we scuttle this ship or tow it back. We're going home.
Sounds good. All right, so I will calm the rest of the group and tell them that the ship is currently in stasis. Ask them if they're all okay. Once I'm told that they are, say, okay, we got to find a key. And Perpetua, I need your think machine. And you.
Okay. So, do I just go up the ladder some more?
Sure.
Or you can take the elevator.
We can take the lift.
Oh yeah, firstly, I had a bad experience.
What happened? I had a bad experience.
I can go remedy Father Bell.
Father Bell. Yeah, well, you can see it clearly coming through the front of your suit. Whatever propelled it, it was something very physical that emerged from your abdomen. There were shatters. There were the pieces of the obsidian altar kind of are just all over the place on the ground. No, that's good. I'll like had it gone off, that would not have been super great.
Clean up and engineering.
I will inspect my revolver.
It's going to need some servicing. One of the obsidian fragments actually pierced through the metal and currently blocks the barrel.
So it would Elmer Fudd on me right now.
It would totally Elmer Fudd on you. Okay. But luckily, it's not rabbit season, so.
Okay.
Perpetua, what are you doing?
I'm joining Runner on the bridge.
All right. Doesn't take you very long to get up there. Everything like gravity is a little tweaky still, but like the lights are on, the air is flowing.
Cool. We need the ship's logs copied, and we need to find the key for the ship. Are you sure everybody's okay down there?
no, but they're doing what they can for each other, and we can go join them after we do this.
It's okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, I'll help Perpetua copy the files. I'm hoping with her think machine she can either know how to copy or copy it to her think machine.
Between the two of you and her think machine, you're able to kind of gather the logs of the captain, the stuff that you've read, and in there you find the jump gate code for activating the jump route from here to Byzantium Secundus. The ship sort of shudders as you feel the Venetian merchant kind of dock again. And soon Dorian is walking his way up to the bridge. Rothgar, what did you get on the...
I succeeded. It's still, I was hoping to be, because it says it's favorable remedy, treat wounds, and recovery +1. Do I also add the 8 for my success because I can only use it to help him?
Yes. Yeah, 2 to 1.
So what's your recovery, Father Bell?
My recovery is 8.
Okay, so that's 9 plus another 8, or is it 2 for 1?
2 for 1.
All right, so 4.
Oh,
So your recovery +5 is what you recover.
I'm feeling much better.
So the three of you are in engineering. What is your...
So one concern I had was my suit was pierced, and but do we have atmosphere, or
you do have atmosphere. Runner has restored that.
That's good.
I'm watching out for you. I got your back.
I think I got some duct tape in my bag. Shall we join them on the bridge?
Yes.
Gabriel, is there anything else you want to do here? You were muted, bud, I think. Oh,
No, he's green.
No, I'm good.
Okay, there we go. So you're good? All right, so you... soon, the 5 of you and Dorian are on the bridge of the ship. So what's the plan? This thing has got a major... would require major repairs. We can attempt to tow it back. I don't relish the idea of leaving it here for the Paladendrax and whatever else is down there on the planet.
Would I know if we have any other pilots in my plan?
None of you would, like, the only reason you really kind of understand how this thing works is because of your neural rewrite. So you can pilot the... you can definitely pilot the flitters. There's some flitter pilots on your clan, but this ship won't land.
Okay, but we can keep it like in geosynchronous, so it won't crash into the planet.
You can do that. Dorian does not necessarily like that idea because Paladendrax gets up here.
I'm thinking, well, we should send a message to the lovely lady who helped us.
Agreed.
And I think we should bring this ship back as evidence, and Dorian has a lot of high contacts.
Yes, he is a noble in House Hawkwood.
So hopefully then he could spur the Emperor's interest in this planet and move quickly to...
At least House Hawkwoods?
Yes.
So I would assume our employer might want to call dibs.
Oh, yes.
Unless Father Bell wants to call it for the church. It's a church world.
The church, no. I mean, the church will come to minister, to restore the connection to the faithful who have kept their beliefs, and and certainly my order will be the Shrine of the Beautiful Flame will be of great interest to them. But yeah, if we can get a message, I am worried about what the Paladindrax is going to be doing, while we're going and coming, and also in terms of whether or not the husk virus is still active. The seer Anna was infected, and she expects my success for her cure.
So none of us are from the Aeon sect, so I can't heal the husk, but people back on Byzantium can.
Do we think that's the case, at least? Or, I mean,
if you have a plan for what we, the 6 of us, can do right here, right now, then we should act on that. But I think a lot of these problems have gotten outside of the scope of our group. Like the Paladindrax possibly retaliating against nobles and tribesmen that already know the risk. I mean, unless you want to go down and start a civil war or a revolution.
I think that's already started.
Yeah, you say you want a revolution.
So, I mean, not to be a downer, but
I mean, Brother Gabriel, you were granted visions, I believe, by Saint Beatrice. You carry her holy relic. Is it on us to? Is it better to take it back to the church, and will they act to come and bring the light of the Pancreator and defeat the antinomist and heretical work of the Paladindrax, or did she choose us? Are we messengers, or are we to engage in more action?
I think that we should definitely, at least some of us should return.
Agreed.
On the other hand, it might make sense for someone to stay, and there's going to be a revolution, and perhaps somebody should make sure that House Hawkwood has a place to land when they come to claim the planet. We should, of course. We should, of course.
We could try to calm the lady.
Well,
Delendra?
We
Maybe,
would certainly
yes,
reach out
maybe
to her and how matters stand on the ground.
Yeah, maybe it is not for us to decide their fates, but to maybe maybe it would be best. I think Rothgar is right to consult with.
At least warn her.
Yes, indeed. But to to let her know that one of the Paladindrax's allies has been dealt a significant setback. It should weaken him to a certain extent, but the fact that he controls samples of the husk virus, they also need to know. Are we capable of contacting her, and can we do it in a way where the Paladindrax will not monitor that conversation?
We don't have any like frequency codes or anything like that from our time with her, do we?
Like Kirkon channel, and I'm guessing the ships can reach that far, even if our personal ones can't.
Well, I can praise
do that from the other ship. I said I can probably easily do that from the other ship once I plug in.
Let's reach out and see if she can do anything for Rothgar's tribe before we make any decisions.
At least warn them. Before we leave the pirate ship, med bay, I'm looking for some resupplies on my med kit. There's nothing in there. As it were. It's now an abattoir. I tell her to look up at the local constellation of Isis. That's us. Yes. Yes, don't believe his lies. The ship that he sent out was our ship. We took it from inside the palace. Father Bell?
She would be a worthy ambassador of your planet. We are to reunite Antioch with the known world. What of the safety of the other believers? What of Rothgar's tribes? It seems to us that the Paladindrax, in feeling, having been dealt several rounds of defeat, may lash out. We don't want to come back to a world of genocide.
I can do what I can. See if there's something that we can do for them. I can send aid.
And you need to get Grayson and his wards out from under the citadel.
Grayson
and his wards.
Very well. I will do what I can. Do you need me? I have someone I can turn over the order to. I will provide for Rothgar's tribes what I can. There are some caves on the southern part of the continent that we have been preparing for just this sort of day. Meet at his tribal area in, say, 4 hours from now.
The Shrine of the Beautiful Flame.
Very well. I will meet you there.
We have to thank Lady Beatrice.
All right. So Dorian looks at you. All right, so we have an ambassador. We're not going to stop at Byzantium Secundus just yet. We're going to go from there and make our way back to Delphi. That's the House Hawkwood throne world. Not difficult to say at all. This has to be handled delicately. Not just this, but... And he kind of looks around where looks up to where you're docked with the ship. Whatever happened here is... I have a feeling that it's going on. I believe from the reports we received on Ravenna that this Ashkagial person was involved in the cult there, the ones that caused the husk virus.
I agree.
Let's get back to Delphi. We can regroup. We can plan our next steps. All right. Well, 4 hours later, you retrieve the lady and 2 of her entourage. Both
no one expects her to travel alone.
Rothgard's tribesman, who's the head of her personal guard, as well as a body servant, a attendant,
Protocol
if you will. Protocol. No, yeah. One of them is really short and only speaks in Is there anything you would do here at the shrine before heading back to the jump gate and trying to get out of here?
Oh yeah, I will absolutely preach a sermon and allow Dorian to pay his respects, making it clear that that it was the visions and the gifts of Lady Beatrice that allowed us to rescue him and ensure his recovery, and thus fulfilling the prophecy. And I'll preach a short sermon of hope and reconciliation to the Fire Eagles, and hope and reconciliation not only to the known worlds but to the city folk of Antioch, that they are all, and even to the
Kurgans?
The Kurgan.
All right. So as Father Bell is delivering this sermon that seems to both inspire and instill hope in the people who hear it, Brother Gabriel, what are you doing? I'm going to kind of go to each of you and see what you guys are doing here in your last few hours on Antioch.
I'm going to find the headman of Rothgar's village. He's still alive, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. I'm going to give him my rapier. And I'm going to say, now remember, this is a precision instrument, right? You're making tiny holes, but they're very, very deep. You need at least a good 6 to 8 inches of penetration for proper major organ trauma.
That's what I like to hear. Organ trauma.
It's a good band name.
Organ trauma. Coming soon to the known worlds near you.
It's all organs.
That's right. It's a 5-organ band.
Heavy metal organs. I bet that's a thing.
It's probably a thing. Don't Google it though. All right, so Brother Gabriel, you and the headman of the village kind of spend some time bonding, sparring, so he learns kind of the proper way to use a rapier. Rothgar, what are you doing here?
Bidding my farewells and regaling them with our fights and how we're going to take to the stars and come back with allies. And when Father Bell's preaching, I try to pass on the limited knowledge I have. He says every time he says St. Beatrice, you gotta go.
Runner, is there anything
That's
you're
really her
doing
name.
here?
Yeah, like I've heard a lot of Father Bell's sermons. So while he is preaching, I kind of go to the outskirts of where the shrine and the forest meet. And I want to kind of sit there and I want to listen. And I want to, like, as odd as it sounds, smell. Because I just want to see if I sense anything of the forest witch Gaella, still here, or if she was up on the ship. And from what they told me about up on the ship in the jump drive room, if I think she's gone from at least this place.
You spend the whole time kind of taking deep breaths and kind of extending your senses out. You don't smell any sense of rotten meat. You don't smell any you don't get the sense of anything anything dark in the area, especially as you're at the shrine.
Okay. And then like as we're getting ready to leave, I'm just curious if the father that had come and yelled at me is in the group here at the shrine.
He is not.
So he and his daughter are not here.
They are not here. Perpetua, what are you doing with your last couple of hours here?
I am observing the crowd that's listening to Father Bell.
Okay.
And looking for people that I recognize.
Well, you definitely see, right, the hetman and some of the various people from both Antioch and the village that you've interacted with. Is there someone specific you're looking for?
I'm curious if I recognize anybody from the city who either helped us or that we encountered in the Paladendrax palace.
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
But according to the lady Derlinda, she says that she will find... She has people looking for Grayson and his sister, and if need be, we still have some access to some old medical equipment that we managed to smuggle out of the Paladendrax's stockpiles. So if the girl is sick, we can put her in sort of a abeyance for the time being. All right. Well, saying goodbye to those, because sticking around here very long, people saw you come in. The judges are probably on their way. Rothgar's tribe heads away. You guys board the ship. 5 days later, the jump codes that Perpetua plugs into the system open the jump gate, and you see Byzantium Secundus.
Well, then we're going to Delphi.
Well, you got to go back to, right? They don't go anywhere. You have to take the jump gate roads. And so several days and several jumps later, you arrive at Delphi. Dorian breathing a sigh of relief, as it is good to be home. You know that Delphi is is not only just the throne world of House Hawkwood, but one of the most technologically advanced planets in the known worlds. But also one of the first planets to suffer from the fading suns. The star of Delphi does not burn as brightly, and those of you who have been here and have been part of his retinue for a while, you know that Delphi over the last several generations has gotten much colder than it used to be. Even the temperate zones are now, the equatorial zones are now much, much colder, much more like temperate areas. But soon, you have made it back, not just to the known worlds, but to the stronghold of Dorian, Hawkwood. and are safe for the time. As Dorian goes about getting flotillas prepared, emissaries from the church, introducing the Lady of Antioch to not just his family, but the other ambassadors of allied houses, allied guilds, and representatives of the Earth Orthodoxy. You guys kind of sit, think back over the last several days and weeks, knowing that while you may have stopped whatever was going on there and brought back a lost world to the known worlds, the Paladendrax still remains on the planet. Ashkagial, whatever fragments there are, still roam the universe. But for now, the 5 of you have peace. And that will end the Annals of Antioch. We will be picking up next week with something new. And if you guys are okay with it, I'm going to give you one advancement and sort of an introduction to where we're starting next week.
Cool.
Cool.
So several weeks go by. You are not forgotten, but your priority is relegated, downgraded, as Dorian kind of gets involved in more of these other things. But eventually, the summon comes. And at night, on a broad patio overlooking Dorian's family's estates, Dorian has summoned you all. The first envoy will be going through the Byzantium Secundus Gate. We have secured imperial dispensation, and under ancient salvage rights were the easiest way to get the decree pushed through. I've been asked to go back to Antioch to aid with the integration. But I've also been putting out feelers. I have an ally in the Inquisition, a gentleman by the name of Flint. He has given me some information, and while I would love for the 5 of you to return to Antioch with me and reintroduce the Paladendrax to the Imperium, he kind of pushes on the table, and you see 2 sets of data files start scrolling through information. This is from Flint. The pirates, the ones who started this whole mess, we tracked down their organization. We know where they are located. And before the Inquisition brings the hammer down, I thought there may be some worthwhile to go and investigate who they were and why Ashkagial has taken interest in them. This other file, though, they refer to themselves as the Abandoned. They're the cult that started this whole mess, and it's been determined that Flint believes they were involved in the Husk outbreak on Ravenna. Now, I have a couple of leads that may provide some insight into where they're at. So I guess, my friends, my question is, do you wish to return to Antioch with me? Or do we dig deeper into one of these 2 mysteries? I can fund you, and I have a charioteer that I can bring out to act as your pilot. The Venetian merchant, I apologize, Rothgar, has been per the church's decrees. Any ships, new ships of that particular era, are property of the church. You will not be getting that back anytime soon.
Is it too late to become a friar?
The prescriptions of the church are very explicit on this point. But I do have some capital with the family. I do have some capital. And I have faith in the 5 of you. So, which would you prefer to do? And so basically you guys can go to Antioch with him and engage back in the war against the Paladendrex and the reintegration of Antioch with the known worlds. If you'd prefer to track down the Abandoned, this cult of antinomists that seem to have attempted at least twice to summon Ashkagial to the known worlds, or track down the more solid lead on these pirates that were sort of co-opted by the Abandoned. I will leave it to the 5 of you. Where would you guys like to go next? With an advancement into level 3, by the way, Richard. You were not here for that.
But
What are your thoughts?
We are level 3.
Oh, sorry, an advancement into level... Yeah, one advancement into... one advancement into level 4. Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
My vote is for cult hunting.
Are there
Okay.
Are there any bounties on the cult?
I was going to say, for the past few weeks, Runner has been looking at the connection between the pirates and House Decados. And so she's very interested in the pirates because, yeah, that's a solid lead. And, you know, there's probably bounties in the pirates.
There are several bounties on renegade members of House Decados by House Hawkwood. There's 3 of them.
So, I mean, the money is that way.
Does Rothgar need to go back to Antioch and make sure that his people are okay?
So the lady Derlinda has said that House Hawkwood, that was one of her negotiation points, that House Hawkwood provide part of the armada, the flotilla that's going back to include transports to take Rothgar's people off of the planet.
But does Rothgar want to ensure that for himself, or?
What would you like to... You guys decide.
He would probably want to go back to help his people.
Okay.
Even if that might mean splitting this group apart, going back with Darian and the lady. Because I don't know if they really want to get off the planet, but they want to be free of the Paladendrix. So, I mean, they want to be able to eventually venture forth, but it's not like they probably don't want to flee, but they don't want to be under the thumb anymore. So,
all right. So Rothgar's heading back no matter what the group decides to do.
I think that would be what Rothgar would do.
Okay.
Mark, are you getting itchy?
I know Mark has a ton of extra characters, so.
That's what I want to know.
Love Rothgar, but Rothgar would probably no, I'm going to return if I can and be with my people. That's just...
So it sounds like Brother Gabriel's vote is for cult. Becca's vote, or Runner's vote, is for cult by way of the pirates and bounties. Rothgar is heading back to Antioch. Perpetual, what are you doing? What's your vote?
I'm torn. I, obviously have a strong loyalty to, these folks that I've been adventuring with, but I am curious to see what happened to Anna and her brother, and the folks that we left on Antioch. But if we have the assurance of Lady Derlindra and Lord Dorian, I suppose that I will carry on with the bounties.
Okay. Father Bell.
I think that Father Bell is ready to go sort of with the will of the majority. I mean, we'll get to the cult eventually, and I feel like we dragged Perpetua and Runner around on our crusading, whether by choice or not, and it's fair to support them in their more temporal needs, and the Pancreator will provide ways for us to fulfill the requirements of the prophet on whatever path we walk. So I'm ready to try and save the souls of some pirates and find some bad cultists after them.
All right, so cult hunting by way of the pirates, because the pirates have that tangible link to the abandoned. All right, well,
turn them away from the dark.
When we come back, we are going to have we're going to be back in the world of Fading Suns, back in the Imperium with sort of a new starting point as the group. Oh yeah.
Just one downtime activity. Sorry, sure. I was taking care of the kids. Whenever we get back, or when we got back, I think the first thing I would have done is had the obsidian shard removed from my revolver and made into bullets.
You can have it made into one bullet. That's kind of like the chunk that you can do it with.
Okay.
All right, but I will give it to you. Unfortunately, I will give it to you. All right, so when we come back, the group will be in a den of iniquity trying to hunt down these pirates. So,
may I get with you on a new character?
Yeah, get with me on a new character, and we're going to have a guest star next time who will be playing our charioteer, and we will let Ulysses kind of make the announcement on that. And guys, thank you so much for coming together for this. This was, I think, our 11th episode. Also, because our chat is so involved, I will say that Perpetua, if you choose to sell your maps of Antioch to House Hawkwood, you will make a tidy profit in Firebirds for doing that.
Yes, that is a plan.
Okay.
I was supposed to do it, Perpetua. And I also have some silver from the world of Antioch.
All right, I will deal with this in the chat, but no, dear viewers, that Perpetua is paid handsomely, maybe beautifully, depends on which she would prefer, in Firebirds for that map. So, as Hrothgar boards the transport, and you guys get on board a new ship to head to this pirate's den, we will be back next time with more Fading Suns, with more of this wonderful crew. Guys, thank you so much. Again, 11 episodes. Did not know that we were going to have that in this, let alone starting another arc. So I appreciate you guys doing this. Father Bell continues to surprise me with his clever role-playing and his singing. Well done. Brother Gabriel, I did not expect you to come through with using those bullets for something, but hey, at least you guys didn't, that jump drive didn't activate, and we are not on some sort of chthonic world in a sort of a qualithic view of the universe as you, so well done. You didn't get sucked into some dark reflection of this universe. I applaud you for that. Perpetua and Runner, always a pleasure. That was great. And Hrothgar, Mark, I look forward to who you're bringing next. So not a charioteer, because we've got that covered.
Yeah, no.
Cool. All right, guys, we will see you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for playing. I am JM, the GM. This is my crew, and we'll see you in a week.